welcome to my review for this week's episode of Hero Walker Vigilantes, man. Another banger episode with this one, man. We are finally back at it again with the actual current timeline with Koichi and the boys. No Knuckles up to this episode, unfortunately. We did get a lot of Koichi and Pop. A lot of that in the stitches, so I'm going to have a lot of Koi Pop stitches, which I'm excited to get working. This episode was definitely a very Captain Celebrity, I do think, episode this was, man. And honestly, well, did anyone else feel like this episode felt like revisionist history sort of thing, man? Because in season 1, and please tell me if I'm tripping or misremembering stuff, they very much portrayed him as an egotistical asshole. Someone that was only in it for himself, and, you know, he didn't give two flying of everyone, like he was cheating on his wife, if I remember correctly. Didn't give a damn about Koichi and whatsoever, man. You know, just guy that has his head up his ass. You know what I mean? The stuck up Hollywood types. You know what I mean? The selfish. You know what I mean when I say that, man. But this episode tries to portray him now like, oh no, he's actually kind of a nice guy. You know, his heart's just too stuff. He's a very too low. That's why he's always getting sued. And I'm like, am I feel like I'm being gaslit? Like, does anyone else feel like this episode was revisionist history, like rewriting Captain Celebrity's entire character compared to how we saw him in season 1? And he was also signing on Koichi's All Might jacket and all that stuff, man. Like, I don't know, man. This episode just felt weird, man. Like, it felt like, I mean, on the one hand, obviously, this could just be character growth, and, like, you know, he's not as bad as we initially thought he was, but at the same time, it's just so drastic compared to how he was in season 1 that feels like revisionist history almost, man. Like, I'm being gaslit about the type of person Captain Celebrity actually. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm tripping. I don't know if any of y'all felt the same way, but yeah, that's how I felt about this episode, man. It just felt like weird tonal shit with Captain Celebrity. I mean, there's definitely bits of him being a dick in here still, like when he refuses to give Koichi the shield to, you know, help him out, so that he doesn't have to deal with the wind chill. But, like, besides that, they try to portray him as an actual kind of good dude. But like I said, I'm pretty sure he was like cheating on his wife and whatnot, man. So I don't know. Oh, one other thing, guys. I actually saw a tweet about this. I think it was from Mighty. You guys, I don't follow him, man. He does a YouTube like reacts of Hero Walker and whatnot. Man. Halfway wasn't going, but I've seen him pop on my feed every now and then, man. I know that Mina PFP by heart by this point, man. He actually made a tweet that I thought was interesting, like a couple days ago or whatever it was, saying that season 3, assuming it's a full 25 episodes, with how much content of Vigilantes, that will be the last season of Vigilantes. Now, he said that it will be a final 25 episode season. Now, as far as I know, we have not gotten any confirmation what season 3 will be. If it'll be, once again, split core like season 1, technically what is, which technically means this is season 1 part 2, not season 2. But whatever the case may be, season 3 will be the last season if it's a full 25 episodes. Now, if it is a full 25 episodes, we're done. It's 3 seasons, you know, but there's a good chance, but like season 1 and season 2, it will be split core once again, so we'll be ending technically at 4 seasons. Either way, man, we're already halfway through Vigilantes, and we're already nearing the end of its run, man. Which ends up being 4th season. That means it'll end up being like half the length of Vigilantes. It'll be like half the length of the main series, exactly. If it's at 4 seasons, because the main series was at 8 seasons when it had ended its run. I thought that was interesting. We're already near the end of Vigilantes. But yeah, I mean, we all know it was good, but damn, I thought we might have got a little bit more, assuming it's split core once again, man. But yeah, we're wrapping up with Vigilantes, so that crossover movie should not be too far away. Anyway, now let's just jump right into the actual episode. So we start the episode off right in the thick of it with Koichi and Pop. We literally just start with them. We were getting right back to business, man. They are rushing to get to some location. Pop is rushing Koichi, but Koichi doesn't want to go super fast because he doesn't have his gear on, so he can't really go super fast. Pop Step is hauling ass, and eventually they're met by Captain Celebrity, along with, of course, Makoto. They catch up with them, and they end up landing right in front of them and asking them if they want to take a ride back to the mall. Now, of course they agree and whatnot, but I don't think it was fully expecting Koichi to, like, deny it, or, like, because you guys remember he got jealous of Captain Celebrity back in season 1, so I was fully expecting him to just deny it and tell him to go fuck himself. But no, he ends up tagging along with the rest of them, but like I said, he was the one that was shit out of luck and ended up having to deal with the brunt of the wind chill, which I'm sure must have been pretty cold, man. Poor Koichi, man. Seriously, fuck Captain Celebrity. He's kind of an asshole. Anyway, the word of the day for this arc is catastrophe. And so we get over to the mall area, which looks a little bit more beat up and run down than we last saw, but maybe I might be wrong. Anyway, so we see the three little girls there. They're running up to Captain Celebrity. They're oh, and of course Koichi, brother, is suffering, man. He is freezing his nuts off, man. Of course, Makoto and Pop, they fine. Koichi's like one of the guys like, hey, what about you, Captain? And then we actually figure out how it's choreographed. And I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if like this is how it actually works with like all characters that have flight powers, like Superman, the Lanterns more than likely, Wonder Woman, Sentry, who else can fly in Marvel? I'm just slipping on names. Yeah, Sentry I already mentioned, Thor, yeah, I'm sure there's more heroes that I'm just forgetting about, but he mentioned that he has this aerodynamic field around that basically protects him from the elements and can seemingly also be used as a protective barrier, as we see later on in the episode with the kids. So it seems like that's actually how his quirk works, man. He has this aerodynamic field that's actually what's propelling him through the air, and also, like I said, can seemingly also work as a protective barrier for other people as well as him from the elements, you know, from the wind chill and whatnot. And he goes on about like, oh, you couldn't have made rooms. Like, well, it's like a blanket. There's limited cuddle space. Of course the ladies are going to get the invite. And so Makoto tells him, hey, don't mention it to the public. And he's like, oh, because it's be bad for public. And then she brings up the point that no, it's because we can't let the people know what the specifics of his quirk is, because, you know, people could use that to exploit his weakness. Which, you know, fair enough. I mean, like that's the whole thing with All Might and whatnot. Probably other pros are like that as well. Anyway, the rest of the crew start falling in there, man. We see the bitch twins. We see the tracksuit girls. The Mad Hatters also show up as well, which I am super happy that the glasses chick and the Mad Hatters lead guy got a lot of screen time. This was surprisingly a good amount of screen time this episode, because you guys know how much I love them in season 1. I've been begging for them to get more screen time in season 2. So this episode was definitely gave me that. So I was very appreciative of that. So that was cool to see them get a lot more screen time in this episode. Anyway, so like I said, the rest of them coming in there. Makoto comes in there, and they also like as Makoto said, they straight recycle the same shot like right afterwards. They do like a cut to them, insert, they do cut back to Makoto, then cut back to them again, and it's literally the exact same panning shot. The only difference is that the twins are looking at each other. I was like, God damn, y'all are just shameless with this recycling, man. Like, this is the first time I've ever seen here. We've seen them recycle some animation from like the OPs into the main series and whatnot, man. But this is straight up the first I've seen them reuse the same shot practically back to back. Like, this was shocking. This was shocking that they did that. They just do the same thing twice. That was kind of surprising to see. So she tells them about how everything is set up and, you know, everything's taken care of for the rest of the year, through New Year's or whatnot, and that's all that's left is the Christmas party. So then they start putting up the decorations for the Christmas party. Koichi's obviously putting stuff on the wall. Pop's putting like little roses on the little thing, the decorators on the wall. They start playing, I'm pretty sure it's the same song they played during the Christmas episode for the main series. I'm not 100% certain because it's been years I've seen season 5, but I'm pretty sure it's the same song that was used for that Christmas episode they reused for this Christmas episode. I could be wrong though, so if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, guys, but I'm pretty sure they reused the same song. I mean, it's a good song, it works, but you know, I'm pretty sure they reused the same song. We also we get montage them, the others coming in there, man. We see them getting the pizza. We actually get to see Joe Tureen and Cycles along with the eel guy come in there, man, with some food. Like I said, we get a shot of the Mad Hatters with the glasses chick, the actual owner of the mall, the owner or whatever of the mall coming in there dressed as Santa. He bringing gift cards. One thing I thought was a bit bizarre was one of the bitch twins, when everyone's circled around, she has one of those like popper thingies that like blow out confetti out of them. I don't know if they have a specific name for them. But weirdly, during when she's like ready and she's about to pull pop for some reason is covering her ears. Now, to be fair, I have never dealt with any of these IRL. I've really only seen these like streamer popper things in anime or movies or what have you. So, are they actually that loud? Because I was kind of shocked that she was like kind of like holding her ears, like bracing for the loud noise, which I thought was a bit bizarre. Like, are they really just that loud, or just pop just not like the loud sound of it? I found this was kind of bizarre that she was like covering her ears like a bomb was about to go off, man. That she they were about to demolish an entire building and she wanted to cover her ears from the sound or something. I don't know. I thought that was a little bizarre, but maybe she just doesn't like the loud noise. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, like I said, we get more montage shots of the guys enjoying the Christmas party, eating pizza and whatnot, man. the principal or the owner, or whoever, the boss, comes in there, man. He gives everyone like gift cards. We get this one shot of the Mad Hatter with the glasses chick be like, the sunset is as hot as my passion, or something like that, man. It was so great seeing it, and then you could actually see Pop in the corner, mortified, or shocked rather. But yeah, it was cool to see. I was glad to see they got a lot of screen time in this episode. So then we cut to the end of the party. Koichi and Pop are cleaning stuff up along with Makoto, while Captain Celebrity and the three little girls are just tired, just asleep on the couch. This is where you really get to where I feel this episode is just revisionist history, because they mentioned how all the lawsuits were fraudulent, or they were honey traps, or it was just bullshit from the paparazzi, etc. So like made it like where he's basically absolved of any crime or wrongdoing in these lawsuits. Even though, like I said, I'm pretty sure he was actively pursuing women, and I'm pretty sure cheated on his wife. And I'm pretty sure Pop hated his guts as well, yet she's completely cool with him and be like, yeah, I'm so happy for you, Captain. So like I said, I felt like I was being gaslit this entire episode. Now, apparently, I made a message in the Hiroaka GCM ad, because I wanted to know, because like there's some manga reason there, I want to know, am I going crazy? Like literally just looking for a second opinion to see if I'm going crazy or not, or if I'm missing something about Captain Celebrity, because the best way I can describe it, it's like if we saw Bakugo in season 1, everything where he was annoying, loud, everything brash, everything that we know of Bakugo from season 1 was in season 1. Then the next time we saw him in season 2, he has all his characterization from season 8. He was there with all his characterization by season 8. By that point, was there when we saw Bakugo next time in season 2. That is like what I feel like we've missed like a season or half a season of character development for Captain Celebrity. Now, as I was saying, I mentioned a poke on this and Powerhouse. Gotta do the thing. She had mentioned that apparently the manga humbled him a lot more compared to what we've seen him. Now, we know Vigilantes has not been the greatest adaptation, because you guys know there's been like a lot of like, or at least some cut content from the manga that's got, like one of the biggest ones, at least that I remember off the top of my head, was the shot of Koichi and Pop sleeping together on the train that got cut out in the end. I don't know if there's been any other major instances of that, but apparently he got humbled a lot more in the manga, which probably makes him being not as dickish here would make a little bit more sense compared to, I mean, like I said, this is also pretty sure the first time we've seen Captain Celebrity this entire season. So I think it just makes this whole thing even more jarring. I could be wrong. I'm not sure, but yeah. Like I said, this whole bit was jarring. I'm like, what the fuck? Did I miss an episode or something? Like, it was weird, man. Like I said, it's like if Bakugo had all his characterization in season 1, then the next time we saw him, he had all his characterization from season 8. It just be jarring. Anyway, so we also find out that his wife is pregnant somehow, even though they haven't been together. And I'm pretty sure he's been at Japan for like a year. So like, and like last time we saw her in season 1, as far as I know, she wasn't pregnant. So like, they must have had sex like right before he left or something, because this math ain't mathin' for me, man. And how exactly this worked, given how long he's been in Japan, they've been separated. But whatever the case may be, like I said, this whole thing made no goddamn sense. But yeah, he didn't know that she was pregnant. His wife, Makoto, tells that his wife didn't want him to know that she was pregnant because of how he was. She says that her husband that she knows he has a good heart, but he's too soft. So, and because that she wants to raise the kid on her own. And then Counselor's like, really? That doesn't sound like her. And then Mom's like, if you really want to know, that good for me. He's like, wait, stop, please. Your version was enough. If I heard hers, I probably hurt my fragile feelings. Just, man, I love Sean Schemmel as Counselor. This is probably my favorite roles of his, even including Goku, man. This is probably my favorite role of his, man. Yeah, I love it. And I'm sure Sean was having a blast in the booth because, he doesn't get to do this. Like, basically, he's only voicing Goku nowadays. Back in the 2000s, he was living in New York at the time, so if you were vigilant, you probably would hear him in a lot of 4Kids, though, because I remember correctly, he was actually living in New York at the time, during the 2000s, so he was all over the place in, like, 4Kids dubs and 4Kids shows. But, obviously, once 4Kid went under, I think he's, like, chilling in LA now. I don't think he's even living anywhere near Texas. That, basically, all he's done is Goku. Just Goku. This has been, like, probably the first new role he's gotten in like a decade, probably. Besides, I was like Goku Black and whatnot for Super. This is probably the first completely original role that is no connection to Dragon Ball in probably close to a decade by this point. Probably since his 4Kids days. So I'm sure he's been having a blast to do literally anything else but voice Goku. Goku. Anyway, but yeah, he's awesome. Anyway, so he's starting to get all excited, like, oh, you know, I'm gonna have a baby, blah 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 blah, and having no little brother. And then he like grabs one of the girls that, mind you, are still fast asleep, picks her up, and then like places her like basically right by his chin. So they're like right up, they're right squishing each other, being like little baby running around. And then she wakes up, and all three of them start screaming bloody murder, running to Makoto. They are all assuming the absolute worst, or they were just scared by this, man. I don't know. And Makoto, once you see why he's a lightning rod for loss, I'm like, bro, keep your hands to yourself, my brother. Especially, these are children. These girls look like they're not older than, like, what, 6, 7? They ain't that young. They ain't that old, man. They very young, brother. You gotta be careful. Your brother, it's like he's asking to catch a case, man. No. I feel this is an interesting dichotomy because when you compare this to Midnight, which I think Midnight has definitely gone off the handle way more than, you know, well, it kind of depends. Like, this, I don't know what you would consider worse. This or all of Midnight's sexual innuendo, but I would say that they're relatively same. But like, you know, Midnight has seemingly gotten off complete scot-free while Captain Celebrity is just drowning in lawsuits. It is kind of funny when you think about that, man. Though Terry Fairy's probably done way worse stuff. Like I said, cheating on his wife. I'm pretty sure he was actively pursuing women, and so yeah, there's that as well. Anyway, afterwards, after all that, they take the girls back. They give them a taxi, and they say their goodbyes before they drive off. And then out of nowhere, this beast this flying dragon looking thing, who, judging from what we see later on the episode, these might be some of the earliest versions of Nomus, seemingly, but I could be wrong about that. And anyway, so this creature comes in there, grabs the taxi, and starts flying away. Of course, Captain Celebrity starts to give chase. We get this really epic cut right here, where the camera pans from Captain Celebrity down to Koichi as he's flying up towards it. It's really good. Now, for some reason, nothing of this episode has been published on Sakagaburo yet. I don't know. Like, I mean, this has happened before. Like, I think it was like a few episodes ago, like there was another episode where I had a few cuts where I was kind of surprised that nothing had been posted on Sakagaburo. Then like either later that same day or like the day after, they finally got posted. Not sure what that's about. I don't know if Ken, who was like the main guy that posted your rock content, is like waiting on animators. He's like communicating with some animators to figure out who did what before posting stuff. I don't know. But like this has happened, but occasionally for some reason Hirawaka Vigilante cuts are delayed on Sakagaburo by like a day or something. So like, let me check. Let me refresh the page right now just to see if anything's been posted, or if it's just still all the Gengas I posted. Yeah, it's still all the Gengas that I posted from the official Hirawaka account, which we're posting Gengas for the last episode like crazy. They were just spamming those motherfuckers out yesterday. So, yeah, that kept me busy. Anyway, this is an amazing comment. I don't know who did this, man, but hopefully we find out soon, because this was easily probably the animation highlight of the episode, man. This looked amazing. Anyway, as he's charging towards him, we actually see number 6 is the one behind him. He taps his button that blows up the gnome or whatever this creature is. Blows it up. It seems like the car got an explosion as well. Everyone's shocked. Captain Slayer managed to come in there, man. He's beat up. His clothes are ripped up. He's bleeding, but he managed to get all 3 girls, and they're all wrapped up in that aerodynamic barrier. He got all 3 of them wrapped up as he's falling to the ground and lands. Now, if you notice, he only had 3. He only gave the girls a barrier, not himself. So it seems like he can only put 3 people into this barrier, and like one of them being himself. Because like I said, in the start of the episode, he only gave the barrier to himself, Pop, as well as Makoto, while of course Koichi was shelling. So it seems like he has a limit at 3 people he can put inside this barrier. Then he can't go more than that, seemingly. So I guess that's how it works, as number 6 points out a little bit later on the episode. After they all land, the girls rush towards him to hug him. He's like making sure they're okay. Everyone starts pulling out their phones, man, grabbing pictures and whatnot. And Crab's like, please, no pictures. And like, don't catch me when I'm at my worst. And the Makoto gets through, man, and she says, this is the best you've looked in a while. So, and then we get another shot, and then we get back to number 6 where he says like, now I know your weakness. And like I said, we get this insert shot of like these purple canisters with monsters or creatures inside. Like I said, this looks like Araki's lab. So I think these might be some of the earliest versions of Nomu. I could be wrong, but it seems like these are meant to be like the early beta or prototype versions of Nomus, which we've been seeing little hints of with other creatures from the souped up trigger that other guys have been getting. So this might all be connected. These might be like early prototype versions of Nomus. Whatever the case may be, we go to my tower, which is a big-ass building. This motherfucker is long. Anyway, first of all, man, before we continue on the episode, now you guys remember in my review for episode 3, I was constantly going off about Aizawa's these black sleeves that All Might was wearing over his jacket, not over his dress shirt. I was like, what are these things? Why is he wearing these? Like, it was a whole thing to review. Well, on the Every Dub subreddit, man, in the episode discussion for this episode, I made a comment asking, I did this on like a couple posts. I think I did this, I think I did on the official Hirawaka subreddit, I did it on a few locations. Asking, begging, literally, for anyone to tell me what the fuck these black sleeves were and what their purpose was. Someone, well, on the Every Dub subreddit, someone did reply to me, and basically, their covers, they're designed to keep long sleeve white blouses and shirts clean while working at a desk. That's basically what these are. Why exactly All Might is wearing them? Because, he doesn't work an office job. I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to make sure he didn't get coffee on his sleeves or something. I don't know. But that is what these things are. And now that mystery has finally been put to rest, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so Sukeichi mentions that he's not going to be able to stay, they're not going to be able to hang out for a while, that there's been a breakthrough on the trigger case, and that the number now required is full thanks to the tip that Knuckle Duster gave him. And so All Might's obviously getting worried about him, so they're like, just make a call for me, I can come in secret. And then we get him with like this bag over his nose, like maybe much like, be like, I am here, incognito! This was really fun. This is a really fun moment, man. Gotta love All Might. Anyway, we then come back over to the common writers, which was Sukeichi, Mito, and Aizawa. He has the flash drive that they got from Midnight, that Pop and Koichi gave her, that contains basically all the information they have on the villains from Season 1 and whatnot, man. While Koichi is just stroking it, he'll be like, his name is the Crawler, man. Like, he is just eating this shit up, man. He really out here stroking his own ego about the Crawler. And of course, the common writers are like, bro, pick a lane. Really, if you want to play dumb, then don't brag at the same time. And then later on, as Midnight's going on, and she mentions how they did a new job, and how they're going to be fine in terms of the law, and that she was taking the flash drive with her for safekeeping and whatnot, man, etc., etc., etc. She mentions this smooth jazz starts playing in the background, and he says she wanted to thank him, and then ask him what the name, what the hero, the vigilante's name was, and then to give him her regards, and he says, the Crawler, man. He'll be flattered. And everyone's looking at Koichi like, embarrassing as Aizawa says. I'm like, bro, Koichi really just be stroking his own ego here, and this is really funny. Anyway, we then come back to Sukeichi when he gets a flash from Aizawa, and the common writers are definitely trying not to burst out laughing from Koichi. We then cut to a news broadcast about what happened with Captain Charisma. They mentioned how he's going back to the US, etc., etc., etc. His video's on 100 million views. He's trending worldwide on Twitter. Captain Celebrity's been is on the come up right now in terms of his approval ratings. This is when Makoto mentioned that the farewell concert, or whatever, for Captain Celebrity is going to be moved from, I think it's going to be from the Naruhata Mall, and it's going to be moved into the sky, which of course is the arc's namesake, so we're finally getting there. We're getting there. Anyway, and then she mentions that there's I think it holds 50,000 people or something like that. It was either 50,000 or 5,000, somewhere around that range. And of course, Pop and the bitch twins, they start freaking out because the Naruhata Mall is held 100 people, and usually it's really only 50 because it's mostly friends and family, and of course Joe Tureen as well as Cyclops. So they start freaking out. We get this incredible shot of Pop standing. The drawings here are absolutely incredible with the dark shot, with the dark shading and everything. This is probably the most unique looking shot in all of Hirawaka. Both the main series and this one, man. This is way out of left field for Hirawaka in terms of its overall look. So yeah, I don't know who animated this. Hopefully we figure out who. Hopefully we get an announcement on this at some point, man, because this was an incredible drawing, man. Like I said, this is probably the single most unique, interesting drawing in the entire series, man. It was so unique, very much different from how the rest of the series looks like, man, and it was definitely a pleasant surprise. This is incredible. So everyone starts running like chickens with their heads cut off, and then Captain Celebrity says just do what you always do, man. It's my party anyway. So which seemingly manages to calm their nerves. Then we get a montage of them train for the band. They're running around the track while, of course, Koichi's cheering them on, which was pretty cool to see. Always, you love to see Koichi cheering on this girl. We get to see some closing stuff with Captain Charisma. God damn it! I did this whole episode, but I slipped up in the end with Captain Celebrity, like meeting up with the boss and doing some photos. We got, of course, Makoto getting everything set up and calling up heroes. She calls up everyone, Ingenium, Tensei's in. They go for Endeavor, of course, he tells them to go fuck themselves. Midnight, we actually see her with her harem of men, like she said when we saw her in the preview arc, so that's nice. That's a nice little touch. I wonder if, like, that whole thing with the harem men came from that, because you guys know these arcs were initially flipped in the manga, so I wonder if, like, one was a reason we saw it in the other or not. But either way, Midnight did get her harem of men in her agency. Of course, President Mike is ready to go. Aizawa's like, maybe I'll go if I'm not doing anything. We also get to see Mirko lifting some weights, which that's honestly also the second arc I'm most excited for. Is the one where we see Mirko when she was like just starting off, when she was wearing a rock and a luchador mask. That's like the arc I'm like second most excited to see in Vigilantes whenever that comes out. But we see her, we see Wash. We get to see Grand Orca's in there as well, Headshot, the Wow Wow Pussycat, which this was in the preview images, so I thought we were going to hear Chairman's episode. This is all we get. Maybe in like the following episodes we might get some dialogue, but I was kind of disappointed that I didn't get to hear Jeremy this episode. I also got to say the storyboard of this episode was great. I already mentioned that one amazing shot with Captain Celebrity and Koichi. The episode was storyboarded by Miichio Fukuda, if I'm pronouncing their name right. Or is this a man or woman accent? This is a woman. Let me see. What is their gender? Okay, it's a dude. Anyway, as I was saying, like, he directed the storyboard of the episode, and I mentioned the one shot with Pop, but there was this really nice shot with Popstep when she was jumping up, when she was working with the cheerleader team, getting prepped for that. And we also got this one really nice shot when Makoto comes into their house. It's like overhead shot when she walks in. That I thought was really nice. Well, the episode was storyboarded very well, I must say. Anyway, we see Sukeichi coming out of the shower. Too, like, he's still rocking that rose-scented bath bomb, or it's a shampoo. I forget which one it was. But because you can see the roses coming out there, man. And they talk for a bit, and then he ends up leaving. She, of course, starts begging for All Might's contact info, which, of course, he still refuses to give her. That is the end of the episode, ladies and gentlemen, man. Next week should be interesting, because this is when we're really going to start the Skydance arc, man. Or Sky Egg arc. Hopefully we get to see, Pixie or Pixel, whatever her name was, the one that the pussycat that Sharon was at show to get some dialogue next time, because I would love to hear her in Vigilantes. But we'll have to wait to see on that, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, guys, overall, give this episode 9 out of 10, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you do. Follow me socially if you feel like it. Links are trust below, and as always, crap for more. See you guys next time.